Welcome to Shots with Lexin. Hi everyone and welcome to the 4th episode of Shots with Lexin. I'm here with Val.
Hi.
He's my amazing lawyer. So this is an English episode. If you guys are watching, we always switch to make the guests as comfortable as they want. But here's Val. So we're going to start with a nice little shooter to start, Shots with Lexin. So you can grab yours, Val. We'll do a little chin, little cheers. Do you knock on the? Do you?
Yeah.
That's the proper way,
like
right?
This. That's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Perfect.
Good, yeah.
So we'll put those away. Thanks so much, Val. It's just the way. I know you're a really busy guy, so can you a little bit introduce yourself, who you are, what you do?
Oh, sure. My name is Val Erikson. I'm the owner and the founder of Erikson Law Firm. I work in Ottawa, Embrun, and basically everywhere in Ottawa. And sometimes we even do deals outside of the city. We go to Toronto. I mostly specialize in real estate law and tax law, but it's mostly real estate. We do residential, commercial real estate. And I started my own business in 2015.
Nice.
I was called to the bar in 2009, and I worked for the government. I worked in a law firm, but I decided to be self-employed, and I never regretted that.
That's so cool. So it's weird, Val, because I've known you because I was referred by my mortgage broker when I bought my first house, and that's how we literally met.
That's right.
And then I had the chance to do your photography for your family, and we've become now. You help me with literally everything that I do.
Oh, and you too. And you're an amazing photographer. We love your pictures. Thank you.
No, it's good. And that's the thing, though, because I never really got the chance to know you a little bit and where you were coming from and all this stuff. So what made you decide to go into law?
Yeah, so I studied political science. I started with studying political science at Carleton University. And then, you learn about government, you learn about all these institutions. And then I was like, it's very interesting to know how exactly they work, how they all function. And that's why I decided to study law, because it was like a very natural kind of trend for me.
Okay.
Because I wanted to see how it all works. And then I kind of got into real estate and tax law. It was super interesting for me. I did my clerkship at the Tax Court of Canada. Okay. And then after that, I worked for the government, and I worked in a law firm, and I decided to start my own business.
Okay, sick. And where did you study?
I studied at Carleton University, and then en fait, je peux parler français aussi parce que j'ai fait mes études en droit civil à l'Université d'Ottawa.
Oh, shit.
Puis après, after that, I went to study common law at the University of Ottawa.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah. You've done all the universities now.
Yeah. So it was mostly Carleton and then Ottawa U. And then I lived in Montreal for 2 years. Okay. I took some tax law courses at McGill University, but I didn't graduate. I just took some courses there.
Okay, so when people
learn about accounting.
Oh yeah, well, when people are talking about the tax season right now and they're just complaining about it, is it something that you just love to do, or?
No, I don't do taxes. Mostly I do real estate, but we do disputes with the CRA. So for example, when people file their taxes and then they have problems, CRA comes knocking at your door. Sometimes they call us.
Gotta love the CRA.
Yeah.
Yeah, much love to the CRA. But no, that's cool. Okay. And what makes it that you like more real estate versus tax?
Oh, I really like real estate because, tax is also very interesting, but real estate, the market for the past 2 years, it's been just crazy.
How did that affect your job?
Oh my God. I worked literally being self-employed, I worked 7, 8 a.m. until 8, 9 p.m. almost every day sometimes.
Oh, shoot, just all the closings, all the deals?
The closing deals, and then, people were buying a lot. It was just nuts.
Yeah, and it is a lot of work for you to work that many hours. And I feel is it something that people assume that when you're a lawyer that you work that many hours? Does it apply to everyone kind of in your profession, or is it a choice to work this many hours?
It's kind of both, sometimes you work many hours. It's really depends on how busy you want to be, right? Because on my own, I started I opened my law practice in 2015. Yeah. So I wanted to go out. I wanted to get more business. I wanted to grow. That was very natural.
That's a big jump too, to go out on your own.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
open your
right.
business? Is it what you intended it to be? Like, is it what you thought it would be, or is it completely different? Is it harder? Is it easier?
No, I'm really, really happy, you know, because a lot of people say, oh, like being on your own, you're your own boss. Like that's true, but
Yeah.
you basically do everything, right? You have to like hire people. You know that yourself. You have to hire people. You have to do accounting. You have to. It's not just the practice of law. It's also like you have to meet people. You have to advertise. You know, you guys probably
You have
saw
to
it.
get clients.
We have to get clients.
Clients.
That's right. So it's a lot of different aspects. It's not just like practicing sitting and practicing law.
Yeah. And do you watch the law shows and stuff like that on Netflix when there are shows based on law?
Sometimes, yeah, for sure. I like all these like movies and shows. Like I like.
Do they really represent you well? Or
Sometimes, yeah,
Yeah.
Sometimes we even make jokes about it. Like I work with a lot of real estate agents and mortgage brokers, and if you guys ever want to work together, I'll be happy to
Yeah.
do that. And sometimes we make all these jokes, but at the end of the day, it's business, and I really, really enjoy it. And you asked me why I like real estate, because people are super happy when they buy something. They're always like,
it's a new milestone.
it's a new milestone,
Mhm.
and they come back and they're always very grateful, and you also feel that it's, oh my god, like this is really cool
Yeah.
to do.
100%. And I think there's one thing that made me so happy to work with you at the beginning is the fact that I feel like you have an idea of what a lawyer is because of the movies, because of like how
Right.
people talk about it. And you have this idea of someone in a suit that's super intense and like they're not always the good guy. They kind of have like a bad guy persona. And it is very intimidating to talk about law to some people.
Yeah, no, you're right, because like I remember even when I started being on my own, and that's why I'm saying, like you guys should never be afraid to start something, because it's always difficult. It doesn't matter what you do, law, like any kind of business, right? I would go and talk to some senior lawyers, and some of them were like, yeah, you shouldn't be starting, because I started when I was fairly like young.
Do you mind saying like how young you were? How old you
when
were when you opened your firm?
Yeah, so I'm 39 now. So when I opened, it was like I was called to the bar in 2009. So I was like 20.
Okay. Yeah,
See,
yeah.
like, not
Not like
older.
I'm like I can't do math right now.
After these shots, they
Yeah,
were great. So I was like late 20s, I think, early
Oh
30s.
shoot.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it
And-
is a lot of studies to
Yeah.
become a lawyer too. It's not something that you just get
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah, and I went to some guys, some like girls, and everybody was like, "Oh, you shouldn't be starting. Like, it's not good. You're too young for this. Like, you should be like 40, 50 to start."
Okay.
But like, don't listen to them. Just if you like something, go with this, and it's perfect.
You'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. Yeah, like there's a lot of opportunities, and like I actually find a lot of younger people with like social media and all this stuff. Like we get through and we make it work.
100%. But yeah, that's one of the things. Like when you're going through buying a house, it's super stressful. Like for me, it was my first house. I was signing a loan, and I was like 2021 when I came
Yeah.
to your office to sign it, and I was shaking in my boots, because it's so scary. But to have someone, and it's super like cheesy to say, but I came in, I didn't know you. We had only talked on the phone.
That's right.
And I got to meet you, and I was like, oh, cool. And you always believed me, even though
I
like
always
you
believed in you. Yeah, and I'm
you
always-
never judged me in any way because of
No.
my age. And I thought that was so cool. Do you think it's based because that you started young too?
Probably, yes, in a way, because I went through the same experience, but I also admired you because I always admire like young, women. Like I have a daughter too. Like I admire young women, going into business, and I do whatever I can to put them at ease and make sure that it all works out at the end of the day.
How do your daughters see you? Do they see you as a big bad lawyer, or is it dad that works really hard?
No, like sometimes I guess it's both. Sometimes
Yeah.
you see be a bad lawyer and like the dad that works hard, but I try to be there for them as well.
Do they ask you a lot of questions about what you do and like law? Are they super interested in what you do? Or not as much?
They do, yeah. The young one just says you go to the office, you put on like a suit and go to the office.
That's what you do?
Yeah. The older one, she asks me sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Like-
She's getting interested. She wants to know what you actually
That's
you're
right,
doing.
what you actually do. And like, she's like, would it be okay if I grow up and I help you a little bit? I'm like, sure, that would be nice.
She wants to be part of the family business already.
I don't know. We'll see what she wants to do.
Because how old are they now?
The oldest one is 10.
Oh my God.
Yes, and the little one, Leia, she's 5.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So at 10, she wants to be part of the family business. Let's go.
Yeah, she's like,
She's
she likes
generational.
many things. It's like, I remember she likes dancing, she likes photography. So
A
we'll see what
dancing
she's.
lawyer.
Yeah.
She can work for me too. I'd
That's
be happy
right.
to have her. No, that's incredible. But do you feel like because you're seen or this image of what your profession is made to be, that sometimes the approach of people towards you isn't naturally the same? Like they don't see you as someone approachable because of your title of lawyer?
I try to be very approachable. Like like we have a lot of like friends, you know, and I talk to people. Like I'm never like arrogant or.
Or that people become standoffish once they find out what you do. Like, oh,
Sometimes
lawyer.
some people yes, but I never have this attitude as like, oh hey guys, I'm a lawyer, like you know, like I'm very easygoing. Like you saw me, like sometimes you come to the office, like I wear jeans and a t-shirt, you know, like I don't want to be unapproachable. That's right. So I'm very easygoing with people. Like I have no problem with that, and I think it's very good, like not just being a lawyer, but in any business, like when you communicate, when you're normal, you're easygoing to people, like
You're normal,
it's natural. It's natural that like business will come to you, because like you're right, people like are signing up for, you know, mortgages, they're buying a house. It's a very stressful process, and like our goal, like at Erikson Law Firm, is not to add more stress to people, just make them at ease.
Yeah,
Put
pretty
them at
much.
ease.
That's what I like so much about my experience, and without making it sound like an ad for you, because I will put it sponsored by Erikson Law Firm. No, but, it's just in a way to make people understand that like law doesn't have to be a scary.
No, it doesn't have
thing.
to be scary at all. It's like any business. It's
a job.
It's a job.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what you
Nothing
do.
like it is scary when you make it scary, right? Sometimes like I remember when we bought the house, or I had some transactions as well, like, and you don't just you go to the office and people are very like, oh yeah, like you gotta sign here, and it's like, yeah, you just gotta be normal, you know.
You're just being like, this is an everyday thing. It's part of the process.
right.
It's not this big, massive deal kind
That's
of
right.
thing. Not making it too much of a big hoo-ha.
Yeah. Sometimes I remember we had a commercial deal for like several $1 million, and it was very easygoing. And I really appreciate that you said it, because the guy, you know, my client, he told me the same thing, that it was super easy. Like I never thought about it as it was very stressful for me, but you made it very easy. Yeah.
And it's very important, because especially when you go through, like I always bring it back to, sometimes we make up in our head what it's supposed to be like, because we're told by everybody, or we see it in the movies and stuff, and it's this big massive deal. Of course it is when you sign papers, you know.
That's right. It is, absolutely. It's very serious, and you gotta do all the due diligence. Yeah.
Yeah, but do you feel like that it just kind of almost like gets out of line sometimes? But yeah, that it's just that I love that you're super chill about it, and that it hasn't affected you, that people around you, that they didn't believe you could do it when you were young. Did you want to prove them wrong? Like what was made the difference that you still made the jump, even though everyone told you not to?
You always want to prove them wrong, and also just I think you got to be yourself, you know. Like I just compete with yourself. Like don't be jealous, don't judge like other people, you know, like, because I find like a lot of people like, oh, I want to be doing like what this person is doing, or how come like she has everything or he has everything and I don't have anything, you know. Like just don't be like that. Just do your own thing. Don't like be you know, just go with the flow, compete with yourself, always improve it, you know, because there's this goal. I know it has been said many times. Once you achieve it, like you gotta, you know,
There's always something else.
there's always something else. Just don't stop. Don't be comfortable. You always have to be hungry. You know, like all these people in the movies, you know, are saying all these things. It's all true. Like if you're not hungry, if you're comfortable, you always should step out of the comfort zone
And keep pushing.
and keep pushing.
If it's uncomfortable, it's probably a good sign that you're
That's right.
pushing yourself out of your
I
boundaries.
mean, it's good to be comfortable, but at the same time, you always have to be like, okay, what else? What's next? That's
What's the
why
next
I
thing?
really admire you, because I find like you're this person and we're very similar. You know,
I
like-
mean, yeah, because I'm like, yo, life would be so boring if I didn't go
know,
after
I
someone
know.
else. What's going on?
For sure.
But yeah, so talking about that, are you someone that plans a lot in the future? Do you have big plans coming up? Like, what's your next big thing?
Oh my God, like it's really important to plan, but I'm not the type of person who'll be like, well, you know, when people say, well, where do you see yourself in 5
5 years?
You know, like, or like when you apply for a job, like what are your three strengths. It's like
What are your three strengths?
I've always been really bad with this kind of stuff. Like I just go with the flow. For example, like I think real estate investment is good. There's like private lending. There are all kinds of things you want to do.
Well, being in real estate law, did it make
Yeah.
you fall in love with real estate itself?
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Like I've met so many real estate agents and mortgage brokers, and like if there's a good deal, if there's an opportunity, I always want to seize it.
Yeah, you're trying to be part of it.
For
did,
sure.
Did you ever question, oh, why didn't I go as an agent or a broker instead? Why am I the lawyer? Have you ever thought about that, or you've always been happy?
No. I've always been very happy. I like realtors and brokers help me handle that part of the deal. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
I like
but-
to do like legal work, and I also like meeting all different people.
Different people every day. You have different
Yeah.
transactions.
Yeah, for
different
sure.
all that fun stuff. Okay, so you've never really thought like, oh, because I've heard there's someone else that talked to me that was in law,
Mm-hmm.
and he did all his years of studies, and then he became the lawyer, and he went, man, it's not what I thought it would be.
Oh, maybe, yeah. For me, it's not like that.
No.
I really, really enjoy it.
You
because
like it.
Law, it's not just, a lot of people think, oh my God, it's just like reading
Signing
books
papers.
and signing papers. It's not like that. And like real estate could sound like really boring, but it's not. Like, it's like you meet a lot of people, you look at the properties, there's like private lending, there's refinance, people sell their property, they, consolidate their debts. And then in the process, you learn about people, you
Get to know their stories.
get to know their stories, you try to help them, right? Because somebody who comes to me and like applies for a private mortgage, like a second private mortgage at 15%, like, they're going through a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to make it hard on them,
You're there to help them.
That's right.
Kind of through it. So you've seen people going through getting their first house. You've seen like different stages of life through.
Oh my God, yes. And
law.
sometimes they go through a divorce separation and they have to sell their house. And
Right.
there's always something. It's not boring.
It's always a little bit different every time. That's true. And you must see just a lot of different people too.
That's right.
They're
That's
just
right.
never the same.
That's correct. Yes, but they're all amazing. Like all our clients are great. But you're right. Every client, what I really like about this job is that you get to meet all kinds of people. You get to know a lot of people. And that's how we met. And I was like, oh my God, she's amazing. She's an amazing photographer. And like every time I go, we should take some pictures soon.
You're due. You are due.
Yeah.
But it's just funny because to me, I always talk to people like, yeah, my lawyer's at my birthday party. Your lawyer's not
Yeah.
at your birthday party? What do you mean? And because I'm like, I became friends with you with the time.
That's right.
And
that's
you
right.
understood really where I was coming from. And I thought that was so cool. And that's the reason why I wanted to have you on my podcast, but also because I've never asked you these millions of questions because,
No,
and I guess
appreciate it. Sorry, I'm a little bit stressed because I don't really do a lot of this stuff, but I mean,
You're
you
not.
make me feel good. That's good.
that's why we have the shots,
Yeah.
But it's more, that's the reason why I brought you on. And I thought it was fascinating because you shifted my perspective of what law and lawyer and that profession meant to be as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And often that the three, especially for Kirlos, my fiance, that in the Arab culture, it's like, oh, you're a lawyer, a doctor, an architect, or you're nothing. It's part of the
No, it's not true. It's
three big professions that are recognized. You know what I
okay.
mean? As like the big deals because you go to school for like a million years.
That's right, but I mean, it
see it
is
that
good, but
way?
at the same time, no, I don't see it this way. I just like being a lawyer, but
'Kay.
I know many lawyers who are struggling, right? Because
Okay.
law, as every other, discipline, is any other profession, it's
Yeah.
business, right?
You have to work.
You have to work hard. It's like nobody, like I told you in the beginning, when you have to work, it's all like I'm my own boss, but at the same time, I have to work from 8 till 8 every day. Now it's better, but
Good.
especially when you start, right? You have
Yeah.
to do all these things here and there, and you sell yourself, right? You sell your product.
Constantly.
You have to market. You have to advertise. You have to take nice pictures. You have to do everything, and it's not just. Some people just cannot cope with this, right? So, and then
not
on the
for
other-
them,
That's
yeah.
right. It's not for them, and they go and work for. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but sometimes they go and work for the government or they go work for another firm because they don't want to be dealing with this stuff. For me, I love doing all this stuff.
Yeah,
right?
but you have that entrepreneurship
That's
kind
right.
of part of it, which is why you started your own firm.
That's right. Yes.
Could you go back to working for someone?
No,
Do you think
no,
so?
I don't think so. No, I don't think I'll ever be able to work for anybody.
No way. Once you've made your ways and
Yeah. Would you work for somebody?
I mean, it depends for a while. Maybe at a point if I get so tired and I would
Yeah.
just go, I would love to work at a Tim Hortons and just get, unlimited ice caps and
Do whatever you
and be that girl that's like way too cheery at the drive-through. I feel like it is a huge job that people underestimate.
is?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
to deal
Actually,
with
my
all the
first
people?
job was at KFC. I remember KFC.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I worked there, and it is a very difficult job.
It's super hard.
It's super hard.
Yeah, people
You
really
work there.
not underestimate it. It is underestimated, but more undervalue.
Oh, 100%.
You let
But
that deal with you.
it's a super difficult job. So, but I think a lot of people went through this like fast food stuff. It's a really good school.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like I've had a million jobs. I was someone that loved to work, so
Yeah.
like that's not a problem. But it was more like sometimes I want to go back because as an entrepreneur you don't have all the answers,
That's right.
and I wished could go back and work for someone and be like, oh, this is how you do this, okay? Because I
Yeah.
have no clue what the heck is going on.
I find it's important also in any business. I don't know if you found this, but to find like a mentor, like somebody you can go and talk to. I was lucky. There's this lawyer. He's like 74, 75. Like sometimes I would like call him. He actually, when I said like everybody said like don't start this business, he was the only one at that time who said, no,
Believed in
man,
you.
you should go for it. Like, like it's never a good time to start. He was like, no, you should do it and you'll be fine.
Okay.
And I still call him, and he's always very friendly with me. We go for a coffee, for dinner sometimes.
Kind of update each
Yeah,
other on
yeah,
what's going on.
yeah.
He must be so proud of you now.
Yeah, he is, and I'm
That's
proud
so
of
cool.
him. I'm very thankful to him as well.
It's very important because you kind of need someone to either bounce ideas on
For sure.
that won't judge or I feel like, do you feel like it's hard for people to understand your brain sometimes when you you think new ideas, you're going through the business side of law?
For sure. Gabriella would probably agree with you, my wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard for me to understand my own brain. Yeah.
100%. But I think it's part of the process of having a business is just being constantly a little bit confused.
That's right.
But it's okay, right? It's part of the process.
I agree.
Would you, if one of your girls came up to you and said that they would want to be a lawyer, would you recommend it to them?
Oh, absolutely. Like if they wanted to be lawyers, I'd be happy. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to force them to do that. Like
No.
I'm not going to say you guys have to be lawyers, doctors, or,
Whatever.
like just go with whatever you like, but be good at it. Because you can be good at whatever you do. I just find like you really have to like it. Because if you do something that you hate, you gave me an example with the lawyer. Like I spoke to one doctor, I'm not going to name any names, and like, she told me I don't really like it. Like
But
it's
what
just
she
like
does.
you have to see
So many people
so
in a day.
like the most important thing is like you have to like what you're doing.
100%.
Yeah, and it's a business, like, and you're gonna do it for the rest of your life. Well, not maybe if you don't like it, you won't. But if this is something you're stuck doing, you just really have to like it. And I find if you like it, it doesn't really matter what you do. If you're good at it, you like it, you'll probably make money. It could be construction, like law, doctor, photography, whatever you want to do, but be good at it.
That's true. As long, if you're good at it, usually you tend to like it a little bit more.
That's right.
And then I feel like when you have your own business, you have this obsession at being the absolute best too.
Yes,
you
the
always-
best or nothing.
The best. And that's why we don't sleep.
That's right.
That's why we don't sleep. But was there like a moment, like I particularly didn't have anything massive happen to me that was like, okay, photography is my thing. Did you have a moment that law, or was more like, oh, I'll try this, and then you ended up liking it a lot?
It was kind of natural, because I've always been like a news junkie. I liked news. I studied political science, and then I was very lucky because I had a chance to work with like Peter MacKay when he was the Minister of Justice.
Okay.
And you kind of learn about all these legal things,
everything.
and I was like, I'd be really, really interested.
Okay.
And it was kind of natural for me that I went into law.
Like just kind of worked itself into
Yes.
being what you do today. It
That's
just
right.
made sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. And I've also been interested in real estate. You asked me if I wanted to be like a broker or
You never questioned
An
what it would
agent.
be like to be an agent instead, doing the
Yeah.
other side of the work. You never?
yeah, no, I never questioned it. No, but I knew that it would be really nice to meet some good realtors and brokers so that we can work together, like it would be nice to, because like I wouldn't be able to find like a really good deal, or maybe I would be, but they would probably know better, right? Like about it, or the brokers, like, or the bankers that give me like a good rate or
from your experience that you mentioned all these people that are like really key items to being in real estate is having an agent, a broker, a good banker, and all of that stuff. And you know how these are, again, this is from my perspective, and also because I'm pretty young and getting into it, and you hear all the back and forth and the different perspectives of what, like, some people don't take brokers as something serious, and some people don't take agents as being something serious. As being in law, is there an importance to having these legitimate professionals help you? Or is it always applicable? Some help, some don't. Is it just...
It's up to you. Like, I mean, there are many things you can do yourself, right? I mean, I think for me, it's important. Like, some people would say, oh, it's not like you can cut your own hair, right? Like, I mean, you can take your own photography. You can like write, like, find samples and write like some legal documents. Like, you can do everything by yourself. But I think if you want it to be done, good and professionally, like, you go there, right? Like, so it's, I think it's important for sure.
It's important.
Yeah, and also having, providing that good customer service for people also helps, because it's not just agents and brokers. Sometimes, like I did a refinance for a lady. I think she's a hairdresser.
Okay.
And she referred me like more than 10 clients.
That's amazing.
Like we just had a nice chat, and she was like, yeah, you're a good guy. And like, clients come to her, and they were all buying homes or refinancing.
That's great.
Yeah, and I'm sure you have it too, right? Like, you take somebody's picture and they'll be like, oh, Lexine is great, and people will come to you. So you have to be nice to people.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things, like my business mentor, I've been lucky that it was my fiance.
Yeah.
I always go like this to like remember, right. So Kirlos helped me more, and the first thing he said to me when we were just good friends was, Lexine, like, they don't hire you because you take great pictures. Cool, you do take great pictures, but you're the product. And then, the photography comes with it. But a lot of people associate an experience with what you do. So I feel like if I think back and I would have had a bad experience with a lawyer, I don't know if I would have bought another house, because maybe would have associated like a bad, just like, ew, house is bad. You know what I mean?
And I agree with you. And I think that's how people feel in everything. Like, I'm like that too, right? Like, if you have a bad experience, you're like, I'm not sure if like...
Have you heard a lot of stories of people that come to you and say like, hey, I had such a bad experience before buying a house. I'm here now. Please help me. Like,
Like, I usually don't like to like discuss other people, like, so for example, if somebody says, oh, like, that lawyer was not whatever.
No, but like, not that they named names.
Yeah, but they
anything.
did like have bad experience for sure. I mean, I hope, I do my best to do like everything I can for my clients, but I'm sure like sometimes, you probably get sometimes like that. People are like, oh, I'm not really happy with something.
And it's okay. You can't please everybody.
Exactly.
At the
You
end
try
of
to
the day.
address it, but I like do my best to keep everybody happy.
Did you have suggestions on like how to vet which lawyer is good for you? Is there like...
I just go with my gut feeling,
gut?
Like just how you feel like, and it's like for everything, right? Like,
yeah.
Because you're right, like but I find that your pictures are amazing though. I really like it, but I really liked you as a person, because like sometimes, like you go, because I took some pictures before, and it's like you don't have this click, right? You don't have this vibe. Yeah. So I find it's like you have to have it. Like, so it is...
For anything that you hire in your life, it's important.
Because there are many good lawyers, there are many good photographers. You're absolutely right. There are many good like... professionals,
people,
but if you have a good click, with people, it always helps to me.
No, especially like I know a lot of people here that are going to watch this, like either they're going through the process of buying a home, and it's just, you have to trust the person that you're paying, like,
of course,
to help you. Because if, for example, I would have been super uncomfortable with you, maybe I wouldn't have asked you all the questions that I needed to understand.
100%. I agree with you. You have to be very comfortable with the person that you're dealing with. Like, and same thing, like sometimes you go to the bank, and it's not about the bank. Like, it's just like the person you're talking to. And sometimes they're like, I don't think it's a good for you. I'm like, I'm not asking you if it's a good thing for me. I'm just, how do I get there? How
do I get there? Yeah. They tend to have an opinion on you rather than trying to help you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I understand that. No, 100%. If you would go back in time and start again, would you have a different career, or would you stay within the same realm? Was there a career that you've always questioned, like, what if?
Oh, 100%. Because when I was in high school, I was in theater, right? Like, so I always,
Really?
I always wanted to do that part. I would probably be doing something like that.
Really?
But, then theater and law sometimes.
That's amazing.
So it actually helps me a lot. It helps me because it helps me, talking to people,
Your persona.
Like, persona for sure.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's days that you don't want to deal with stuff, but you have to be there for the people going through it.
That's right. And it helps you with advertisement, with everything. Like it's good. Yeah, I'd do something like related to theater. I like books, maybe I'd write a book or something.
Why can't you do now? Do you think you're going to write a book one day?
I don't know. Maybe, who knows?
Okay. But was anyone in your family involved in law as well, or are you the first?
No, I'm the first. No.
Okay. What did your parents do?
Yeah, so my mom, she worked as an accountant. She worked at the bank.
Wow.
My dad, he worked as a driver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just completely different.
Completely different, yeah.
So I guess maybe with her being an accountant, do you think you got like that money side of things to better understand, or not even?
Not even. No.
Really
We never
drew
really
your own
discussed
path.
it. That's right. Yeah. I just told them like this is what I'm gonna do because like I started studying political science. Like nobody in our family was interested. Like not interested. Like they read the news and stuff, but they weren't like into politics or anything like that.
So are you the odd one out, the odd sheep that kind of went through law, and they're like, okay, sure. Were they surprised when you said that you wanted to be a lawyer? Like, whoa, okay.
What I like about my parents is that they never, like, sometimes like, oh, let's sit together and discuss what you have to do. Like, my parents never
did this
to me. Yeah. Like, I just told them, like, this is what I'm going to do. And they were like, yeah, that's good. Perfect.
Good for you. So they've always been supportive since day one.
Yeah. They never said, like, you shouldn't be doing this or shouldn't be doing that or you should be,
You just go for it.
That's right.
They were just like, okay, cool, do it yourself. That's sick. Because I feel like everyone your background or wherever you come from and your parents, it makes a massive difference on how the perspective of how you see work.
That's right.
How you see your profession. And having that support for sure must have helped a little bit, especially if you were going against the grain of people telling you like, yo, you're not supposed to do this.
Oh yeah, exactly. I will still do it. I'll do
Did
whatever
you ever talk to those people again and be like, yeah, I did it, bro? Like
I didn't talk to them, but I think they see it, like, so they saw it after and
were you like proud? Like,
That's right.
I got it. I made it now.
I don't like to
no.
rub it or whatever, but I think people see it. And that's why, sometimes people come to me, I have some like young lawyers, like girls and boys, like they come and they're like, hey, I'd be interested in that. I'd never be like, oh, I'm not going to talk to you, right?
Yeah, like, oh, you can't do it.
No, you can't do it. You shouldn't be starting it, like, because some people, like, they're 18 and they're like, hey, like, this is something I'm considering. Like,
I even had opinion?
Oh, yeah. And I had a girl, like, I think, like, some schools, they have programs for, I don't know what it's called, but I had a girl, she was, like, 16.
Okay.
And she did some work in the office.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
She was really good. She was very interested in. She's like, I want to be a lawyer, and I just wanted to see how it is and what it's all about. Yeah.
Well, that shows a lot of drive from her to be like, hey, I want to try this. Let's do it. But that's what's important though, because she could have tried it and been like, oh, ew.
And you know what? It's important to try because like you might not like it, right? Because you're like, oh, I want to be, I want to be a lawyer. I want to do this, and then you try it and you don't like it, right?
100%. I feel like that's what's been happening is that either people put in their minds like, I have to be this thing.
Absolutely.
And then they go through the schooling, and then they're done the schooling, and they're like, what's going on? Like, I don't even like doing this.
Yeah.
But they just did it for the idea of what they were doing instead.
No, you should never do it for for the degree or for like being something. It's like if you don't like it, I think forget about it. You really have to like it.
Try new things to kind of figure out what you like.
Because you'll be miserable. Imagine like doing something you don't like for a very long time. It's just it sucks.
And it's it's choices, right?
That's
to a certain degree, you try to figure out what works for you in the middle ground. I know some people say that they don't have a choice because they end up being either a financial situation or a personal situation where they're stuck in a certain job. That's why I love asking like from a different perspectives and stuff that if you would have changed your life. But it's so cool that you're like, no, this is what I wanted. I figured it out. I'm doing it hard. And do you see yourself being a lawyer for the rest of your life? Or are you gonna change it up at one point, or you just go with the flow one day at a time?
I'm just gonna go with the flow one day at a time. I cannot plan, but I like being a lawyer right now. This is something I enjoy, and I know that I'm gonna be doing it for the foreseeable future. If I want to change it, we'll see.
We'll see when it's there.
We'll see where the life is gonna bring us, because it's so unpredictable.
Yeah, 100%. Well, thank you so much, Val, for taking your precious
you.
time. I know that you're running everywhere. And thanks to everybody else watching. Thank you so much for tuning in for this episode. I hope that you learned something. I mean, if you have a lawyer that is this nice, you can do anything that you want in your life. I just want to put it out there that not all professions are as scary as the movie make them seem to be. No. And not
I'll
at all.
give you guys my direct phone number. Exactly. Can I give it to them?
We'll put it in the data. For sure we'll share you, Val. There's no worries there. Sponsored by Erikson Law Firm. But no, thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope that you learned something, and we'll see you at the next episode.
Thank you, guys.